In different mystical traditions, we find this fundamental law of three. It's one of the most mysterious, but actually most applicable laws of the mystical, alchemical, and spiritual traditions. In the book of Yetzirah, which is an ancient Kabbalistic book, or Jewish mystic book, it says, for example, one will take one direction, the other one will take another direction, and the third one will decide between them. Yeah? So if one goes east and the other goes, or wants to go east and the other one wants to go west, and there is a third one that says we go west, all three will go west. Yeah, it's very important to understand because the universe works very much in this way. In the Indian tradition particularly, we find both in yoga and in Tantra this law of three manifested in these three fundamental qualities of manifestation. Manifestation in the Indian tradition, Kriti, is everything that exists and is visible and is somehow distinct from the spirit. So when things are manifested, they will manifest in this threefold way. They will manifest as inertia, Tamas in Sanskrit, as dynamism, Rajas, and as the balance between dynamism and inertia, Sattva. And basically, once this principle is first intellectually understood well enough to its core, we can see how everything in our lives has a certain proportion of these three qualities: inertia, dynamism, and balance. Yeah? So, when inertia predominates, we feel lazy. When dynamism predominates, we feel agitated. When balance predominates, we feel good. Let's just take a very poetic example. Let's say you're making a statue. Yeah? What's a statue? How do these three elements manifest in a statue? The clay, the marble, the whatever raw material that we make the statue with is tamas, is inert, is inertia. This is the raw material. The work by which we make our statue, where we work on the raw material, let's say clay, that is rajas. That is the dynamism that takes raw clay and makes it into a statue. And then the idea of the statue, the skill, the vision of the statue is sattva, is the balance. Yeah? Balance is on a higher level. They are described as a triangle. On the same line you have inertia and dynamism, and above them we have a balance. Inertia involves, for example, the desires and the fears. As a wish, we just want to be filled. Tamas, inertia. A rajas will be the pursuit for fulfilling our desires and going away from things that make us afraid. And then sattva would be the fulfillment. And then from fulfillment, we can go beyond. The balance is the gateway to go to transcendence, to go beyond desires and fears. So basically, what to do when we are alone, in a couple relationship, in a work environment, and we feel there is access of inertia, access of tamas. That would manifest as laziness, stagnation, ignorance, darkness. Yeah, tamas is also another name for darkness. When we are in such a situation, dynamize. When you hear the clock ringing, Don't think, should I get up or I should not get up? I am too tired to get up. If you bring sattva, for example, because that's an idea. We philosophize, we are in bed and we are full of inertia. And we are philosophizing whether we should get out from bed or not. That's not going to work when you're lying in bed and you start philosophizing. Tamas will stay, inertia will stay as a predominance, and you find yourself a potato in bed. But when you find yourself in inertia, you don't need to think. You need to dynamize. You just get up. And then when you're up, you're clear again. And when we're agitated, when we're in a dynamic mode, go-getter, whatever, university, business, this, that, YouTube, whatever, sports, we are dynamic and we feel the dynamism is too much. We're getting, when rajas is in access, we're getting stressed, we're getting angry, we're getting agitated. We feel unconscious from the amount of dynamism. Then people say, I will push through. No, calm down. You bring a harmonious inertia in the form of relaxation, a little bit, until you hit the balance. You don't stop, because what people do, they do rajas until burnout. And then they go to an axis of too much work, and then too much inertia, burnout, but they come here to Thailand and stay rehab. And then after they're done being a potato, they again work too much. No, don't blow out all your dynamism when you are dynamic. Mix it with relaxation and awareness. The more aware we are in a state of dynamism, the more our action will be that of balance. And then we can just go like a Duracell bunny. You can just continue. If the action is done with the correct proportion of action and relaxation. And that becomes sattva. So when in inertia, increase dynamism, don't think about it. When in axis of dynamism or of rajas, gradually reduce, bring a little bit more relaxation, much more awareness, and then all sorts of things help in the scriptures. Selfless action, for example, because it is selfishness that makes the action take us out of balance, the dynamism out of balance. But if we work for others, then the action will have much less of the negative rajasic effects, negative dynamic effects. So there are all sorts of advices for that. We just give a little essence here. And then when in balance, what to do? So when we feel ourselves fulfilled, happy, quiet, relaxed, no? You felt like that? When you feel like that, what to do when we are sattvic? And this is very important. When you are sattvic, transcend. Balance is the gateway to transcendence. You have a desire, you work through it, you fulfill the desire, now you feel at peace about that desire. Don't go back now, do another desire 1 million times. You can, like a hamster wheel. But you can also have a profound understanding beyond all desires. The same, you had a fear, overcome the fear. Quiet now, the fears. Then go and transcend, go beyond all of it. In sattva, in balance, we can transcend. From inertia, we cannot transcend. If you lie there half unconscious, who am I or whatever, you listen to your breath in vipassana, you completely fall asleep in meditation, it doesn't work. From agitation, we try to meditate what the monkey mind is, it also doesn't work. But from balance, the gateway up beyond manifestation appears. And even if you just transcend for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, go beyond the mind, when you're back, you're much more clean. Less desires, less fear, less agitation, less whatever issues. It's very, very purifying emotionally. And when in transcendence, you do nothing, you stay there. You just stay there. There's nothing to do. Food, for example. There is food that brings the state of inertia, industrial food, reheated food, rotten food, excess of, all of that, excessively fat, excessively sweet, brings an axis of inertia in our being. You eat that kind of food, you become with an axis of inertia. Food that is spicy, fried, gives an axis of rajas, makes us very dynamic. Yeah, you eat chili, you become intense. We had Sesame Street in Israel. It says, you've eaten chili, drink juice. When I was 5 or 6 years old, I was like, that makes sense. Because you eat chili, that's an axis of rajas, you drink juice, you cool down with a bit of tamas, and you reach balance. Very nice. Yeah, this is probably, when we finish the YouTube, this is what people will remember. Eat chili, drink juice. It's better than not remembering anything. And there is sattvic food. Sattvic food is food that is fresh fruits and vegetables, clarified butter, ghee, food that is organic, food that is freshly made, even if it's cooked, is mildly cooked, so baked or boiled, not fried. And then if we eat sattvic food in moderate quantities, then also our mind, our consciousness, our hearts also become sattvic. They become, and they conduce to a state of balance. When Ramana Maharishi was asked from all the spiritual practices, what's the best way in order to support our path to enlightenment? What's the most important? And he said, eating sattvic food in moderate quantities. And then ask your who am I question. So it's extremely important, no joke. Eat really healthy, and it will make the emotional life, your relationship life, professional life, very much charged with that quality of balance. And basically the essence, of this understanding, of this particular application of the three is the following. Wherever you are, go towards the balance point. From inertia to dynamism, but not just for the sake of dynamism, but for the sake of balance. And from dynamism to relaxation and awareness to balance. And once attaining balance, go beyond. Go beyond. Have a vaster and vaster vision. Understand the system that you were a participant of a moment ago, a day ago, a year ago. Understand it from an eagle-like perspective, from a transcendental perspective. If you like this video and want to learn more about Tantra, about yoga, about psychology, emotional healing, lives of saints and the scriptures,
then hit the bell, like, subscribe, and you'll never miss an upload. Thank you so much.